Hello, my name is Jason Marsh of Forge Marsh Group, and this is an overview of the data entry template for the 2016 Election Administration and Voting Survey. You'll be using this data entry template to supply the information that the Election Assistance Commission has requested about the 2016 election cycle. The materials and everything I'll be discussing here can also be found in the guide to using the 2016 Election Administration Voting Survey data entry template. I strongly recommend that you print this out. It's available on the EAVS portal, so you can take notes and follow along as I review the template. So in a previous video, I had gone over the form view, which is what we're currently looking at now. For this current video, I'm actually going to get into the worksheet view. In 2014, we allow data entry into the form view, which is question by question, or the worksheet view, which allows you to copy and paste if you happen to have the data that's been collected from other jurisdictions, or you have it in a flat file format that it would be easier to just enter directly into the worksheet directly. So clicking on the worksheet view button, you can see that it takes you to the screen. It takes the forms and puts this button at the top. If you need to return to form view at any time, you can just click this button to return to form view, and it pops right back up. But going to worksheet view, all of the data that I'd entered in form view is still present, but it's in an unlocked format. So if I wanted to come here and mess with the data, I could, and it takes away the error check until you run the error again. So another good reason to save, and to save frequently, is if you do come here without the ability to undo and redo, and you make any mistakes or change any data you previously entered, it is going to be changed, and you'll have to then go back and enter it as the correct numbers that you have established. Okay. So entering the data in the worksheet view, each worksheet view represents a different section. So just like the form view, each section is separated into different worksheets. You can see labeled at the bottom EACA, EACB, C, D, E, etc., etc. Going back to A, when using the worksheet view, it's important to keep in mind the type or format of information you're entering in a particular field. Most fields are numeric, where you enter the total number of registered voters or ballots. Other fields are text fields in which you can type in your comments. Entering data in a format other than what is meant to be entered in that field will prevent the error check from identifying errors in that field. So it actually will stop the error check from working correctly. There is the option, and you can see across the top, enter number or NA. It tells you exactly what you should be entering. So if it should be a number, you enter a number, or NA, you really should be entering N/A. And it can accept lowercase or uppercase. Optional, these are the boxes that are not required as part of the data collection process. If you do have comments, please enter them here, but they're not required. And again, you can enter the data in this view directly into the spreadsheet. Same thing with comments. The one time that that's not possible, there are some lockdown cells, such as you see here, and they are highlighted a different color, where you can click before and after, but you cannot actually access that cell directly, because it is a formula that's calculating that for you. I'll show you that briefly. So looking at A5 total, it's actually a sum of the different A5 categories. Currently it's at 506. If I were to update this, you can see that the number changes accordingly by how I update the number. So these are actually built in, and they are used as part of the error check process as well. So they are locked down, so you cannot make changes directly. Optional, as I mentioned, are optional categories. The pull down. So in these particular cells, you can pull down the different options that are available. Same in the form template. They only give you the options that are available. If you were to type in something different, though, it gives you the error. The value entered is not valid. User restricted values can be entered into this cell. Okay, something to keep in mind when you're trying to copy and paste data in. So the question subheaders, as I mentioned, will let you know what type of responses are necessary. So copying and pasting into the worksheet view. You will be able to copy and paste data into the worksheet just as you would with any other Excel file. However, there are some limitations. Content that you paste into the worksheet will lose any of its prior formatting, such as cell color, cell background, or bolded, underlined, or italicized font. As a result, you can copy data from a variety of outside sources without it affecting either the data checking or the programming. You'll be unable to copy and paste entire rows of data into the data entry template, and I'll show you why. Looking here, if I wanted to just copy and paste all of the Adair County data into another row, you can see that I get to A51 and it won't let me continue to select cells further. Holding down Shift, it lets me select. But if I go down to the next row and I attempt to paste, and we'll just do a standard paste, the cell or chart that you're trying to change is protected and therefore read-only. And again, this is a direct result of that one column, A5 total, that is protected, so it doesn't allow you to copy and paste directly. If I were to just select the data before that column and attempt to paste it in, then boom, it lets you paste it in up to any of these columns. So it does make the copying and pasting a little more complicated, but if you wanted to copy and paste, you'd have to break it down into the sections between the totals. You may click OK. If you do get that error message, and another thing to note, copying and pasting data in. So as an example, if I wanted to do tests here, copying and pasting data in here and attempting to paste it in here. Unfortunately, that's not prevented, but it also is not a correct answer. It's not a valid response. So it is an error in data collection. So you just have to be careful and make sure that when you are copying and pasting into these cells, you are copying and pasting the correct values. It won't let you type in the wrong value, but for some reason, Excel doesn't have a check to prevent it from letting you copy and paste in. There are two key things to remember about copying and pasting. If you need to copy and paste large amounts of data into the worksheet at once, we recommend copying and pasting data from more than one jurisdiction at once, and then copying and pasting it down. So for instance, if I know that I have data from multiple copies on another sheet, I can copy and paste it down between the necessary sections. And you can see that still works effectively. But I can't paste across except in between the totals boxes, which will prevent some of the pasting. A workaround for this, and something that we created this year, just to demonstrate that we understand that this has been a point of concern, is we have created a separate data aggregate template that is available for download that I will go into in another video. But this is available, and this will allow you to copy and paste across the entire spreadsheet, all of the counties at once, one county at a time, and then allow you to run a separate error check that actually provides an error report that you can then go through and make any corrections. So, as I demonstrated before, the error check actually will demonstrate the error directly on the worksheet. It'll highlight the cell, and it actually puts a note in demonstrating the error, a pop-up that shows you exactly what the problem is with the error. So, once the error has been corrected, this flag will disappear. So if I were to change this to a number that corrected the problem, you can see that the error disappears and it completely goes away. If you're with the state election office after all the data has been entered and you've looked the data over in Worksheet View, you'll still want to use the state error check feature. The state error check will review every field for every jurisdiction and state looking for errors, and you can run the state error check going back to the form view and clicking state error check here like I had demonstrated in the form view error correction piece. And one important thing to note about error checking in the template is that if you switch between Worksheet View and Form View, you need to update the error checks accordingly. So now that I'm back here, if I wanted to update the error check, I would either have to save and close out, which again, saving is always a good idea, or click this Update Error Check, which will update the error check that was previously run. I'm going to cancel this for now and put in an error again. And you can see that's automatically updated. I'll update the error check. And this option will update the error check in all spreadsheet tabs. It takes between 2 and 5 minutes, just like the form view. And if you click OK, it can either create a warning document or not. I'd shown you the warning document in the past. If I click yes, it will create that Word document that lists all of the different errors. If I click no, then it will not. So there you go. Clicking no, moving on. Updating the formulas may take several minutes, and Excel will be unavailable while it updates. Only press this button when you're ready to review the data in a section. For the purpose of this video, we are now going to pretend like I have entered data for all of the counties for the entire state and everything is great. I've done all of my checks, I've looked at all the errors, I've made any corrections that are necessary, and I am ready to save my final data. So one way to save is this save button. It's just an additional piece of functionality. You can or cannot use it if you choose. just click this and click Save to your local file location. I'd already saved the same file, so I'm going to replace that. Or you can, of course, go up to here to save, or you can do your file save as, same methods that you've done in the past. So one additional feature that we had added, however, this year is this reporting feature. If you wanted to aggregate your data across all of the sections into one final worksheet, we have provided that ability to do that systematically within the code. You can see here, if I go to Worksheet View, that I have this new tab called Full Output. And all the Full Output tab did was it collected and merged together EAC A, B, C, D, E, F, G across all the counties were applicable. You can see I only entered for Adair County all of this initial information, but once we get into A1A, A2, where I had copied and pasted down, all of the counties that had data are now entered and present here. The same issue with B that we had noted before is still present. Questions have been removed. So you do not have to enter these if you don't want, but I wanted to point out that these are still there. And the total boxes are only copying the total values. So you can delete or do whatever you want. Nothing is really locked down in this cell like it is in other versions of the data collection instrument. We will actually be using this data when we're doing our error checks. We'll run this full output report and drop it into some of our systematic checks that we have in place to run our error checks to look for any potential errors as well. This full output, every time you return to form view and you click report, it actually deletes that full output sheet and regenerates a new report. So it's important to note that any changes you make to the full output here, even if you save, once you run that report tab again, they are going to be removed. So you do need to make all of the changes still in the individual sections, in the individual tabs, if you want them to stick, if you want them to stay. So just an important note for you to remember, and we will move forward. This is just some additional feature. I hope that you enjoy it. So returning to form view. Thank you for watching this video on the Worksheet View functionality. As I mentioned before, we also have a form view functionality video that is available online as well. And I have recently done a upload and download video for interacting with the EAVS portal when you are downloading these data entry templates and uploading the files after you've completed your data collection. Thank you for watching these videos, and have a good day.